All right then, so now let's go ahead and create a new project folder. And before that, all we have to do is to let me open my browser. There we go. So here I'm gonna bring also the GitHub, so please navigate to your GitHub repository. Okay, so in this case I'm gonna create myself a new repository. I'm just going to name that repository as admin dashboard UI Next.js clerk 2025, something like that. And I'm going to keep this as a private repository. And so far, I'm not going to add anything else, just create the repository. There we go. So now we do have ourselves a repository, a private repository. And I'm just going to copy this Git URL. Let me open my terminal, navigate to the desktop. So let me make it a little bit bigger so you can see it clear, desktop. And here I'm just going to clone that repository, git clone. And I'm just going to say admin dashboard. So now we successfully cloned it. So let me bring it to this screen. Wait a minute, where it is. There we go. See, let me bring it over here. All right, so now I'm just going to open that in the Visual Studio Code. Code space admin dashboard. So let me open it in the Visual Studio Code. There we go. So let me keep this side by side. All right, so now let's go ahead and install the Next.js applications first. So let's go ahead and do that now. I'm going to search for Next.js, click it, and click the Get Started option. Click the installation, and this is the command you're going to use. So in this case, I already do have a package installer. So if you are using npx or yarn or bun or pnpm, that's up to you. In this case, I'm going to use the pnpm installer. So if you're going to install that, npm install npm install -g pnpm. So that's the command that we are going to use, npm install pnpm. So pnpm is the package installer that we are going to use. So I do already have that pnpm hyphen version. So that is going to return me the version which I do have in my machine, right? So I do already have that. And in this case, I'm just going to create that application by using pnpm create next -app at latest /. So // is important because it is going to download all the necessary files and put it inside this admin dashboard file itself. So hit the enter. So that is going to download all the necessary files. And would you like to use the TypeScript? Of course, we are going to use the TypeScript. Would you like to use the ESLint? No. Tailwind CSS? Yes. Or you're going to change the source directory? I'm going to use the app directory, so I'm not going to use the source. So, and I'm going to use the app router. Yes. And are you going to use the Next.js 14 or 15? We're going to use the turbo pack 15. So let's choose that one. And import alias, I'm not going to change that import alias. And now it's downloading all the necessary things. Let's wait until it's successfully downloaded. And there we go. So it's successfully downloaded. So let me run this pnpm run dev. So that is going to download and load the application in the local host. There we go. So now we have our Next.js application up and running. So the main folder, which is going to be your app folder, inside the app we do have a different files and everything. So if you click the layout, that's the file which is being loaded very first, and it is loading all the default styles and everything from our local from the package which is called Next Font Google itself, right? And this is the metadata of our site, the description and the title of our website, and this is our main body content over here. So children is basically being rendered through this React node. So whatever the component, everything, the page is the component which is being rendered as children inside this over here, right? So the page.tsx is the home page, the default home page. So you need to understand why they use the layout.tsx, page.tsx, because that is really important. Because if you click the project structures in the Next.js, you can see the different file names over here. See, these are the naming conventions they are asked to use when you're working with the Next.js application, these are the routing files. See, for layout, you need to use layout. For a page, you need to use the page. For loading UI, loading, not found, error. So these are the different files namings you need to follow, right? And this is the routes, because if you wish to create a new route for like about contact, all you have to do is to create yourself a new folder over here like contact and something. It is going to use the folder name as your route name, right? So that is how you need to use the routes over here, and how to create a dynamic routes. So there are lots and lots of stuffs over here, so we're going to see everything one by one in the session later. Okay, so please refer the documentation if you're watching this course for very first time, or learning the Next.js for very first time. I always strongly prefer to recommend you guys to refer the documentation for the better understanding, right? So now let's move on to the next section.